retroactivity viable?
Yes.
Explain.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Senator Thune has maintained that he believes the path out of this shutdown will come from rank and file members in the Senate, bipartisan conversations, maybe even a gang. You and Leader Schumer have maintained that the path out of this is with the conversation with the president. Can you help kind of reconcile the position that Leader Thune has in that things will come up from bipartisan rank and file conversations, and you saying that Democrats need to talk to the president? Why do you think that there's a gap between how you both see the path out of the shutdown?
Well, Republicans in the House and the Senate, from the very beginning of the Trump presidency, haven't functioned like they are a separate and co-equal branch of government. What we've seen from Republicans in the House and the Senate is that they behave like a wholly owned subsidiary of Donald Trump and the Trump cartel. That's how they behave. A reckless rubber stamp for Donald Trump's extreme agenda, even when they're hurting their own constituents, because that's what Republicans did in the one big ugly bill, largest cut to Medicaid in American history, ripped food from the mouths of children, seniors, and hungry veterans. And as a result of Republican policies that they rubber stamped, what we've seen is that hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health centers are closing in their own communities. And they can care less, because when Donald Trump says jump, they simply respond, boss, how high? That's how Republicans have operated during the entirety of this presidency. And so, of course, our position has been, and I said this directly to the president with Johnson and Thune right next to me, this does not get resolved until you decide to give permission to Republicans on Capitol Hill to negotiate a bipartisan resolution.
Jeffries. Thank you. What is your reaction to now the third strike against suspected drug boats in the Caribbean just this week?
Well, it certainly is the case that we need to see the information from the administration justifying these strikes, both in terms of substance and in terms of the legal authority that they believe authorizes them in the absence of congressional action. Part of the problem that we have with House Republicans being on vacation for the last 4 weeks is that we don't even have the opportunity for the House to be briefed in its entirety on matters of domestic policy, and in this particular instance, on matters of national security, because House Republicans are gone. It's extraordinary. They've been on vacation for 4 weeks. They're getting paid for doing nothing, and then House Republicans are forcing hardworking federal employees to either be furloughed without pay or to work without pay, while they've refused week after week after week to show up. Mike Johnson needs to bring Republicans back now. Enough. This is ridiculous.
Leader Jeffries.
Yep.
Thank you, Leader. So you just said that Republicans are hurting their own constituents, and I understand that SNAP is a broad issue that affects millions, but in your home state alone, 3 million people are expected to lose their benefits next month. And you say you're ready to accept anything bipartisan out of the Senate. We have 3 Democrats who are voting for this right now.
We said, no, I said we're ready to consider anything that emerges in a bipartisan way in good faith from the Senate.
Thank you. Regardless, this is still a bipartisan effort right now to extend Biden's funding levels. If Democrats continue to not vote, reach the 60-vote filibuster, then does the party take this fallout responsibility?
No, and I disagree with the premise that we're extending Biden funding levels. That's a Republican talking point. This is not that complicated to understand. That in December of 2024, a bipartisan spending bill was enacted, overwhelmingly passed in the House and the Senate, signed into law by President Joe Biden. That was in December of 2024. Donald Trump supported that agreement after detonating the original bipartisan agreement. In March of 2025, a partisan Republican spending bill was enacted that lowered the spending levels, and in our view, as Democrats, which is why in the House we overwhelmingly opposed it, hurt veterans, hurt nutritional assistance, hurt housing affordability, and hurt health care. That's why we opposed it, because that March spending bill wasn't Biden-level spending, it was Trump partisan-level spending, which they further aggravated by engaging in impoundments and rescissions in violation of the law in the 6 months that followed that March spending bill, partisan Republican spending bill, being jammed down the throats of the American people. So, first of all, we've made clear we will not support a partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people. We've been saying that for 6 weeks. We have not moved off of our position. We're going to continue to defend the health care of working class Americans, middle class Americans, and everyday Americans.
Mr. Jeffries,
Thanks.
do you have anything positive to say about Mamdani? And do you recognise that your refusal to do so is splitting the Democratic Party?
I traveled throughout the country, and the Democratic Party is as unified as I've seen us throughout the entirety of this year, and you're about to experience that in real time. This won't be hypothetical. You're about to see it in real time